As a kid, I always liked going to the arcades. Gaming back then wasn't so much about trying to beat the game or get to the end. It was all about trying to beat your own personal best or beat the score of the last guy. I would pump in quarter after quarter trying to beat my score even though I knew there was no end to the game. Games now are finite. I feel they lack the same qualities that made you dump your entire allowance into one machine. I want to bring back that same feeling from the arcades. So Fatal Abyss has no ending. There are certain objectives to meet, but it's all about trying to beat your own personal score and for bragging rights. Of course, we had to modernize it a little bit and make it fun to play, so I borrowed elements from Grand Theft Auto, Halo 3, Madden, and even Rock Band.
Can you give us examples of what elements you borrowed from those games?
Well, of course not. I was just name dropping. Fatal Abyss actually has nothing in common with any of those games. But if there's one thing that I know about the game industry, it's that if you want your game to be noticed, you have to attach it to similar games that are big hits now. That being said, I think Fatal Abyss most closely resembles Fallout 3.
What made you decide that you wanted to be a video game maker?
We all have a purpose in life which Heavenly Father has chosen for us. We are powerless to change and must obey His will. Heavenly Father chose me to make games and make people happy, so really I'm just simply doing the Lord's work. To do anything else would be to give in to Satan, and I would probably end up eating babies or masturbating.
What were some of the challenges you faced while making this game?
The biggest challenge was trying to get the retro feel without making it feel too limited. I knew that I wanted to portray the feeling of can't win, don't try, while stacking the odds so far against the player to almost seem impossible at times, but never unfair. To balance this out, the player has multiple weapons and upgrades to fight off the enemies. The feeling of hopelessness is still there, but it never feels impossible. True, there is no end, but I feel that beating one's personal best can be many times more rewarding. Anybody can, say, get to the end of Half-Life 2, but once you've done that, where's there to go? You can try beating it again, but you'll always get the same result. I want there to always be a challenge similar to Galaxian or Space Invaders.
Do you feel that Fatal Abyss is similar to Galaxian or Space Invaders?
Well, since those games aren't very popular anymore, no, I don't. I feel that Fatal Abyss most closely resembles Gears of War 2.
About how long did it take you to complete this project?
From beginning to end, it took a little over 7 years. No, it actually took closer to 7 weeks. Part-time, on weekends. But 7 years sounds a whole lot better.
Why is this game so important to you?
I wanted to make a bold statement about the futility of war in the modern era. Games differ from traditional art media in that we allow the player to make choices and let them live with the consequences. I feel that this has a much longer lasting effect on people. With XNA, Microsoft has given small developers a way to express their views and move gaming forward as an art medium without risking huge piles of money on concepts that might not work. However, since I'm not a pretentious artist and have absolutely no interest in making art games, I decided to just make a shooter that was fun and replayable. I love shooters, and since the genre is all but dead, I decided to make something that all shooter fans could enjoy.
How many people did you have working on this with you?
For this project, I assembled a crack team of people. We started with 38 people on the team, but once some of them figured out that their paychecks were actually crackers with Sharpie written on them, most of them left. That left me and 2 others to do all the work.
What kind of equipment and programs did you use for this game?
Well, for Fatal Abyss, we knew we wanted a retro-feeling game, but many times when bands want a retro sound for their music, they'll use retro equipment that was only used during that time period that they're going for. Keeping this in mind, we decided to only use computers that they would have used in the early 80s. It was very difficult to get XNA to run on a Commodore 64, so I ended up calling up my friend Jimmy. Since he has a semester of electronics in high school, he got out the arc welder and he had it working in 20 damn minutes. Unfortunately, we couldn't get 3ds Max to run, so all the models are actually made out of paper mache. Once we had the paper models, we simply opened up the 360 and shoved them in. I think it actually turned out quite well.